Down go the Denver Nuggets, and the Minnesota Timberwolves reassured us that you can win a series or several series with playing dominant defense against great players. I mean, Nikola Jokic, Kevin Durant, Jamal Murray, Bradley Beal, dominated them with defense. And it's to the point where we haven't seen that type of defense played in a long time, and let alone in the Western Conference. Because when you think about it, the Eastern Conference was always considered that tough, grinded out type style of basketball, heavy pressure defense, physicality, and the West was really up-tempo, high-scoring games. The Minnesota Timberwolves made sure they took it to the Denver Nuggets. But we're going to break that down in just a minute. Give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. Let's talk about it.
He's heating up.
Now, one thing that really caught my eye in this series, all right, not Ant-Man, not, Nikola Jokic per se, but it was really the fact that the way the Minnesota Timberwolves played the Denver Nuggets is the exact same way the Los Angeles Lakers played the Denver Nuggets. They took their best premier shot blocker and defensive player and took him off of Nikola Jokic and put another guy on him. The only thing is, Cat had more size than Rui Hachimura. That was the big deciding factor in all this. Cat played extraordinary defense on Nikola Jokic, even though he was putting up 30, 35, 40, triple doubles, even though he had big numbers for great important stretches of the game. Cat did what he was supposed to do. Did a great job on Nikola Jokic, forced him into tough shots. And this game specifically, all right, when you look at what was the story of the game, all right, the story is going to be told in Nikola Jokic three-point shooting. All right, when you look at that, you see what, 2 of 8, 2 of 9, something like that. What the story of that is actually telling is two things. Number one, he doesn't shoot those shots that many times unless he has to. So that means Denver Nuggets were really stalling out on offense. Really didn't have anything to go on, and he was trying to save the day. Number two, his legs weren't there. For him to shoot that poor of a percentage, especially throughout the course of the playoffs, I think he's like 12 of 51, 12 of 52, something like that. I think Reggie Miller kept count. If he's playing like that, that means, one, they needed those shots. They needed those points. And two, he was tired. He was gassed. He only rested for maybe 1 minute throughout the course of this game. You lose Cat. He gets his 5th foul. He goes out. You come in with Naz Reid. He can score and he can defend. And he can handle the basketball. He can shoot. He can post up. He can hit the mid-range. All of the things that Cat can do. So you didn't really lose anything offensively. The biggest turn of the tide in this game was Anthony Edwards when he came in and started getting things going in the second half. Now, they came all the way down from, 20 points, took the lead, and you didn't really feel like Denver was going to hit that spark. Like they were going to flip that switch, as we call it. And here's my perspective on it. If you're consistently saying, when can I get Nikola Jokic minutes of rest? When can I have situations where we don't have to go through him every single trip up the court offensively? Then why are we paying multiple guys $100 million contracts? Why is Jamal Murray a max guy if he can't handle max responsibilities when Nikola Jokic is off the court? We got to start looking at him the same way we look at other number 2 guys in the league. When the star player is off the court, you have to go off. Granted, he had 30 plus tonight. That's fine, but he had 24 in the first half, and he was a ghost in the second half once Anthony Edwards switched on to him and completely locked him up for majority of that second half. He got loose for a couple buckets, but it wasn't really enough to say, all right, the Denver Nuggets are going to flip that switch. Now, when I look at the Minnesota Timberwolves side, they have size, they have speed, quickness, athleticism. They have all of the things that you need to be a championship contending team, but they got the dog at the head of it. Anthony Edwards, all right, if you listen to his conversation, the way he talks, he is completely locked in on both sides of the ball. He is the definition of a two-way superstar. We hadn't seen that from anybody really that was that dominant, okay, in the playoffs since Dwayne Wade and Kobe was doing it consistently. Devin Booker, great offensive player, but he's not locking anybody down. James Harden, great offensive player, he's not locking anybody down. Playoff P, That's self-explanatory. There's not really a lot of shooting guards that we've seen over the years come into the playoffs and take it even higher on both ends of the court. Anthony Edwards made Jamal Murray a non-factor. All right. Now, one of my biggest issues with this game in particular is the fact that when you don't have it going, when you're missing wide open threes, when you're missing opportunity after opportunity to put points on the board in crucial moments in the game, and Nikola Jokic doesn't touch the basketball, all right? That's coaching and that's team leadership, all right? Somebody on the court has to say, all right, stop jacking up threes. Let's feed him the ball. You don't have that issue on the other side of the court. Everything consistently went through Anthony Edwards. And you know what? I'm going to say this, all right? The NBA's been looking for a new face of the league. It was supposed to be John Morant, but he had his situation, and then he got injured as, he came back into the fold for the Memphis Grizzlies. The Minnesota Timberwolves are what the Grizzlies thought they were. Dogs over there, top to bottom, all right, playing as one unit. They're on the same page. They knew who they need to get the ball to. They knew who's their second option, their third option, their defensive stoppers all over the court. They have a shot blocker in the back of the defense that can crash the boards, rebound, keep a guy like Nikola Jokic off of the glass. You have Karl Anthony Towns, who can space out and he can post up and he can be a defender at times, as he's shown in this series. I'm always going to be hard on Karl Anthony Towns because everybody makes it seem like he's one of the greatest power forwards that we've ever seen from a skill perspective, and I'm just not seeing it up to this point. But he had a good series when he needed to have it. All right, he had moments. Anthony Edwards did all the heavy lifting, and they got the win in the series. All right, so you can't really fault Cat for anything. You can't really hold anything else against him. He came in, he did his job as the second best player on the team. He did his responsibilities. Now, the Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan comparisons, we can chill out on that. All right, because this is his fourth year in the league, first time in the playoffs. He's starting to show us his potential. Don't put that weight on his shoulders, number one. Number two, the comparisons just aren't there yet from, a numbers perspective, a wins perspective at this stage of his career. Let's talk about that years down the road, all right? We can't compare him to Dwayne Wade, but that's a separate video and a separate conversation. What do the Denver Nuggets need to do going into the off season? You can't have situations where, one, Michael Porter Jr. can't be on the floor because he can't play defense and he can't be trusted to take smart shots. That's what happened throughout the course of this game, where you had Brown on the court versus MPJ. All right. And then you also can't have situations where Jamal Murray is supposed to be the second best player on the team, and every time you take Nikola Jokic off of the court, the whole offense falls apart. You got to be able to put Jamal Murray in position to be successful in a manner of which it's his style of play that he is playing. Everything that they run is off of how Nikola Jokic is going to dictate the offense, how they're going to dictate the flow of the game by going through him. It has to be a style in which Jamal Murray is playing the way he wants to play. And I think Gordon is playing well. I think KCP is another piece that you got to consistently keep. Brown coming off the bench, I like him as a piece. Watson, another good young piece, but you got to add another piece coming off the bench. Hardenstein is a free agent, all right, for the New York Knicks. He's a free agent. You need somebody like that, somebody that can give you something different, a different look, to where, all right, Nikola Jokic is the guy we go through offensively when he's in the game. When he's off, we need a guy that's going to provide energy, crash the boards, play defense, and somebody can do dribble handoffs, but still play to that Jamal Murray style of basketball that he wants to play. And then you know what? You need another guard off the bench. Reggie Jackson, he's okay, but he's not elite. He's not going to keep you in games when Jamal Murray goes to the bench and you just have Nikola Jokic. Minnesota versus Dallas. In my opinion, I want to see Kyrie Irving get to the finals without LeBron James, all right? Anthony Davis hasn't and probably won't have that opportunity. Dwayne Wade's done it. Kyrie Irving, if he's able to do it without LeBron, that'll probably be able to set him up to say, okay, we can look at his legacy separate of LeBron James and judge it accordingly, because I think sometimes it's a little unfair. When you play with a great player like LeBron, nobody's really going to look at your career in an aspect of being fair. All right, now people doing that to Scottie Pippen, where they got to the point where they got a little crazy and said he was greater than Michael Jordan. I don't think that, but what I mean is I want to see Kyrie Irving put on a performance to where we finally appreciate him. I got Dallas and Boston in the NBA Finals. And from there, I just want to see the best team win. Some great basketball, maybe go 7 games. But Denver Nuggets down to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Game 7. Western Conference Finals. First time in 20 years. Give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. That's one more for the good guys.
He's heating up.